Welcome to Transcendent. I'm Raya, and I'm the daughter.
And I'm Joe, and I'm the dad.
After 10,000 downloads, we just hit a major milestone. We thought we'd read you a few of the comments. I just finished listening to all of your episodes. One of them said, "Your podcast brought me to tears more than once."
Wow. Was it that bad?
Now that we've hit 10,000 downloads, I would say the biggest moment for me came after Charlie Kirk's assassination. We got on immediately to denounce the violence. And we said, we need to bring everything back. We need to help parents and children connect with one another, and we need to bridge the divide that's tearing us apart. And one of the most amazing things was when one of the radio stations contacted us and said, "We like your message so much. Can we air that little 5-minute segment that you did after that assassination denouncing the violence? Because to have a transgender voice and her cisgender father speaking out at a time like this is what we really need." And that was, I think, a huge moment for us, for this podcast. And I feel like in some ways we got to speak to some people in that moment that may never hear another transgender person in their life.
Since September 1st of 2022, when we began this podcast, we continued every single week connecting with various family members.
Right. And now that we have crossed 10,000 downloads, oh, that was exciting. Dad was calling me up about every few hours saying, "We're a little bit closer. We're almost there.
Yeah.
We're almost there." And then we finally crossed that threshold. And we were very excited. We wanted to do this podcast as a celebration. So here's what the next 20 minutes or so are going to do for you. You're going to find out, if this is your first time listening, whether this show is for you, so you don't have to waste your time. You're also going to walk out with at least one specific frame that you can use with your own family tonight so that you can bring some positivity into your own household. And you're going to hear what a conversation between two people who love one another of different generations sounds like. So even if you never come back, you leave with something. That's the deal.
Who is this podcast for? You, as a parent. Maybe you're the mother, the father. Maybe you're questioning, afraid. You don't know how to reconcile with the child that's just come out. Maybe you think the person should come out and they haven't. Maybe it's not coming out as gay or lesbian. It could be transgender. There are so many things that fall under that umbrella of LGBTQ plus.
Right. Could be non-binary, could be all of those things. So if you are an LGBTQ plus person yourself and you have a conservative family and you're trying to figure out, how can I stay in contact with them without losing myself? This podcast is also for you, and we're grateful to have you here and be a part of that community.
Maybe you're afraid. What are my friends going to say? That was actually an experience that I had. There are so many things you can be afraid of. Maybe you're afraid that your child might be in danger once they come out.
Now, if none of those is you, then this show might not be for you, and that's fine. Go find a show that is.
Exactly.
However, maybe you're the person that thinks, this is not for me. I don't know anybody like that. It will only be a matter of time until somebody comes out. Somebody came to you and said exactly that same thing.
Absolutely.
I don't know anybody like that. And then didn't they, a few months later, come to you and say, "Oh, my daughter just came out to me."
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Then, so you never know. So whether you know you've got the person in your mind of, this is who I'm thinking about and this is the person that I want to be more loving towards, or you just want to be more loving yourself, this podcast is for you, and you're welcome here.
It's also for you if you're having a hard time understanding how to communicate. You'll find I have a kind of a special communication that I bring up, at least once a month.
You make us all groan. And I do from time to time as well.
Yes, and I will tell you, I'm left-handed. And why that's important? 12% of the people are left-handed. 12% of the people, coincidentally, in the world are LGBTQ+, which is very interesting. So you might not know anybody like that. So I ask, do you know anyone who's left-handed?
Dad will talk about being left-handed on about every other episode, and we kind of tease him about that. But that's what makes this work. So I, as the transgender daughter, and Dad, as the straight cisgender parent, have these conversations all of the time, week after week. And I don't remember when it came up. It was sometime in one of our early podcasts that we said, we're doing this on Monday. Let's just say we'll see you Monday. And all of a sudden that became our thing. And we realized, well, now we better start doing this every single Monday. Yeah. And we have been here now consistently every single Monday bringing you this podcast. But what we have thought this podcast was when it started and what it has ended up being has really changed a lot.
Oh, it certainly has.
I think originally we thought we were just going to be talking about all kinds of things, maybe our life and this and that, and that we'd be more of like a Joe Rogan, which I'd never listened to Joe Rogan, but my brother-in-law said, you should listen to Joe Rogan. He's kind of the guy. Yeah. And I said, I don't even know who that is. And I think we thought we'd be doing more just kind of shooting the breeze and talk about this and that. But what we've discovered is that there is so much to talk about when it comes to LGBTQ plus issues that we will never run out of topics.
No, we certainly won't. There are things like dealing with the government, dealing with what's coming up, dealing with legislature and what happens in that area, how things can go well or things can go poorly based on some of the decisions they make and some of the ways that people who are anti-LGBTQ plus feel as though they're doing the right thing. We understand and know that they believe and think that this is something that they should eliminate. I get that. I understand how that can happen. We're out there to educate everyone without accusations, without trying to put somebody down. It's all about being part of the educational process and doing it in a positive way. Not necessarily every week with everyone, but we've hit everyone. We've talked about everyone in the family and the extended family. There have been powerful podcasts from the mom, from the fathers, and for the fathers, and for the mothers, and for other siblings, dealing with issues on how they can work their way through this and keep that family united.
We've gotten to hear from a Catholic priest, an Episcopal priest, pastors, scholars, scientists, LGBTQ plus people, and all kinds of people from all kinds of faith backgrounds and non-faith backgrounds, the entire spectrum of LGBTQ plus, including asexual experiences, and everyone in between. We have gotten to hear from the rainbow of people on this podcast.
Every one of those people falls into a category of some type. We've had conversations with people who are affirming, accepting, but not necessarily affirming, and trying to learn more, not accepting at any point, questioning. We've had people who want to come out but are not quite ready. Every part of that has been something to reach somebody in the universe that's touched that universe in one form or another, or who has been pulled into it by someone else in the family.
And you've had questions as well. So you've sent us in questions like, I'm gay, but my wife doesn't know. What should I do about that?
Yes.
You've sent us questions about, should I come out? I'm not sure if I'm ready. Is this the time right for me? You've sent us questions about, I don't know how I feel about this whole LGBTQ plus thing. I want to keep being loving towards my son or daughter or my child, but I feel like I'm betraying my values and my faith. What do I do with that? Your questions have helped to fuel everything with this podcast, and you have helped to make this the kind of community that I just have to say, we have the best community that you could ever want. The people that are the listeners to this podcast are some of the best, most well-intentioned people that I have ever met, regardless of where you come down on the issues, because every single listener wants to make sure that they are promoting love and well-being towards everyone around them.
One of the most popular questions that we get in a variety of forms has to do with religion. So we do address that often. One of the advantages is that Raya happens to be a former pastor of a conservative church. You're not really part of the conservative church anymore, are you?
No, but it was, the struggle for me was very real, and I understand and can empathize completely with people that come to me and say, Raya, I don't believe what you're saying here because I put the Bible first, and because I put the Bible first, I can't get on board with what you're saying here. Now, there are not a lot of LGBTQ plus voices that are going to say, we're going to sit down, or we're going to be patient with you, we're going to take time with you, we're going to help you understand. I've seen a lot of people that will say, well, you don't know this or that, and you don't, and I understand, and there's a time and a place for that as well, for somebody that is angry or has felt like they've really been burnt. But we have been the place that you can say, okay, well, I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know how to reconcile this with my faith. And this is a safe place where you can come and hear how we have dealt with it. We're going to go to break, but when we come back, we are going to give you one frame that you can use right away tonight that is going to help you to have a much stronger relationship with your family members right away.
Well, I'm looking forward to that.
I have a confession to make. I rarely listen to podcasts. I have one podcast that I follow right now for myself, and I have two other podcasts that have ended that I have followed in the past. So quick note, if you're like me and you don't normally listen to podcasts, here's a simple version. On whatever app or website you're on right now, find our show and just tap follow or subscribe. If you're like me, you can listen on Spotify. You can listen on Apple Podcasts. You can listen on YouTube, although we don't have a big presence on YouTube yet, but a handful of people do listen to us there. You can listen on iHeartRadio and anywhere else that hosts podcasts. All you have to do is do a search for podcast app, and there's dozens of them. Any one of them will host our podcast. We work with all of the major platforms. Or you can just say, Alexa, play Transcendent Podcast. You can listen to it on a walk like Dad does. You can listen to it in the car like my sister does. You can listen to it while you're folding laundry. Find the time that fits best for you. And keep coming back for your weekly dose of positivity every Monday morning.
One of the things we do on every podcast, I do usually do a one-liner. And so I might as well do one right here.
Okay.
Did you know if you write down the word gullible and turn it upside down, it looks like a cat?
Really?
Yeah.
Let me try that and see.
We did promise you that we were going to give you one thing tonight that you can use. The one thing you can do tonight is listen. You think, oh, big deal. What's that? I'll tell you what it is. It's a thing that saved our wonderful relationship. I had no idea, Raya, that you were coming out. I didn't expect that at all. Remember, your background at 40 years old with 7 children and a happy marriage, that definitely surprised me. I didn't expect you to come out and say that you were going to transition. When you said that, I didn't react. I didn't react visually. I didn't say anything. I was in the listening mode. But what came in my mind was the first thing I thought of, and that was either I accept it or I lose you. And I wasn't going to lose you. That is the one thing that you can begin with. Just listen. And keep in mind, if you want to keep the family together, just keep in mind, you're not going to lose them. Now, I'd like to add one other thing. If you are really gullible, you just wrote that word gullible down and turned it upside down to see if it looks like a cat.
That's right. You really were the most critical thing in my life at that point, and I don't know that I would have made it. I've talked about that many times on this podcast, that with all of the emotional strain I was going through, if I would not have had your support through that, I don't know if I could have continued going on, because in that moment, I felt like I couldn't turn this off. I couldn't get away from it. I had tried everything I could, and yet it still felt like I was being so selfish, even though there was no way that I could make this go away. But I still kept telling myself, if I just tried a little harder, but I had tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. When you took that time, instead of telling me, well, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Instead of doing that, you stopped, you listened, you said, tell me what's going on.
Yep.
And I just spoke my heart, and it was hard in that moment. That listening, we think it's such a simple thing, and it is a simple thing. But the fact that it's simple doesn't mean that it is low power. It is one of the highest leverage things that you can do in any relationship. And if you're struggling to maintain a relationship, stop and say, tell me what's going on. Let me listen to you. Let me stop trying to influence you right now and tell me about you.
When you go to the list of podcasts that Transcendent has posted, you'll see categories that are absolutely targeted to you. Wherever you are, whatever it is, what side you're on, where you stand, where you want to stand, what you want to learn, it's there for you. And if you haven't found what you want, just email us at transcendent@gmail.com. We read everyone, and we will address your issue.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I was going to close it.
Some of our top performing episodes include I Once Was Blind, But Now I See. We talked about the gay priest. That was from January 20th of 2025. Then just a little bit later, from February 24th of 2025, An Open Letter to a Skeptical Parent. One of our highest listened episodes, speaking to people that say, I don't know how I feel about all of this. The shocking feedback she got after Raya's transition. My mom came on. We had been asking her for years to come on and join us, and she finally agreed. That one aired on June 10th, 2024. How did she feel about all of this? And then the struggle to accept being transgender. That was my story from February 18th of 2024. Some of our strongest podcasts that can help you get a feel for who we are and get a wide variety of different stories.
So if you want to follow us, there's always something new coming up every Monday. And we hope that with that, We'll see you Monday.
That's not a cat. That's just the word gullible written upside down.